All right. Welcome back to Week 10 post-game pod for the Philadelphia Eagles on the Behind the Back podcast feed. I am Marcos Conan Negron, and I am here coming off of an Eagles 34-6 victory at Dallas. It was a game that took care of a lot of things. Number one, we got to rest starters very early in the fourth quarter, and now we got added rest going into a must-win game here at Washington for the division. The Eagles now have the division lead at 7-2. And get to face the Washington Commanders next week. And this was a big win. The first half was a little slow. Jalen turned the ball over twice, and we went into a halftime lead after a great 2-minute drill, up 14-6, and we never looked back. Things to take away was number one, again, super, super important putting yourself in this position given the fact that the Commanders and Steelers went down to the very last second, and the Steelers ended up winning that game in a very close fashion. So this was huge for the Eagles to get this game and just get right, and not having to play your starters in the fourth, Saquon Barkley getting 15 touches and making the most out of them. And, you got to rest some key players, and now we get to go all out for this Thursday matchup, knowing that we got that, extended bye after the fact. So this was just a big win. Offensively, we did what we had to do. But I thought at times, again, we were a little clunky, but we were able to hit big plays. That's the nature of this offense. A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 106 yards. He didn't get a touchdown, but he made big play after big play getting these one-on-one matchups because they were really trying to load the box to stop Saquon, and that's the threat that he presents, and that's the ability that this offense has now when you have Saquon. Dallas Goedert made a few plays and scored a touchdown. Welcome back. So the weapons are back. Everyone's playing well. So now we have established a rhythm going into next week. But it was really the defense that stood out, and I have to give the defense their flowers. Again, this was Cooper Rush. We saw a little bit of Trey Lance in the fourth quarter as well, but this was all won by the defense. The defense forced 5 turnovers, and they kept us in the game, and also had 2 goal line stops where they held them to a field goal before half, and then they turned the ball over inside the 5 off of a forced fumble from Zach Bond against Ezekiel Elliott. So these guys were able to capitalize. We got an interception off of Trey Lance early in the fourth, and we forced 2 more fumbles. We had 4 total fumbles in this game forced. One from Bryce Huff and another one from Cooper, I believe. But it was just a great game. Defensively, the Cowboys couldn't do anything. They had 48 total passing yards. They were able to run the ball for about 97 yards. They only averaged 2 yards a play. The defense was in full control when you were only allowing 2 yards of play. It just shows that they were stopping the ball at the point of attack. The second one of the Cowboys touched the ball, the Eagles players were on it, locked down, didn't really, they completed every tackle. And I mean, that was huge. And again, Zach Bond forcing 2 fumbles, great game from him. He was all over the place. Nakobe Dean played really well. Cooper DeJean played well. They tried attacking Quignon. It didn't work. Everyone played very, very well. And obviously, again, if Dak was there, different opportunities. He's more aggressive along the middle of the field, knows this offense a little bit better. It probably would have been a different situation. But overall, they did a great job just kind of enforcing their will. They got 3 sacks. They limited big runs. Overall, this was just a stunning defensive game by the defense. I think they were the main reason that this team won this game, and they really just kept the offense in great positions. They were playing complementary football the whole time, and the offense was able to control the game, especially after halftime. We really just went on a rampage. I mean, 14 points in the third quarter really put it away. We were able to close it out with 2 field goals with our backups. So this was just a great game. This is exactly what you needed to do going into a huge divisional matchup next week. And now, again, Dallas, was a desperate team. The defense was really doing what they could, especially in the first half, to keep them in this game. Jalen was struggling a little bit, and Jalen cleaned it up. I mean, he overall finished with 14 of 20. It was 202 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, but he also ran for 56 yards and had 2 touchdowns. One of them was a tush push, but I mean, efficient. And you really cleaned up your act after turning the ball over twice. You just needed to get things together before really just putting this game away. So my overall takeaways from this game, because that's the thing. This game was meant to set up next week, and this had all the makings of a trap game, and all these guys really came out and took care of business. Again, the Cowboys had 1 less turnover than they did points in this game. The defense was all over them, and that's the main takeaway. The defense stepping up and allowing this offense to get off the field quickly. We owned the time of possession. and we won the turnover battle by 3 despite having 2 of our own. So that, again, like, complimentary football, we needed this to be ready for next week, and it also adds an extra cushion. It's funny that both of the games that we've sat our starters have been against our divisional opponents, the Giants and the Cowboys. So hopefully next week against the Commanders, we really bring our A game, because we know we were sloppy still with 7 penalties, like things like that. We really need to clean up. This Commanders team is a good offense. They took a really good Steelers team and had 27 points on them and almost won that game. So, this is going to be a huge test, and getting guys rested for this game was important. And it was an added bonus to what was a very good week. So the Eagles took care of business on the road in Jerryworld, and that's pretty much as much you can ask for. Um, This is really short because there's not too much to take away from it other than this team took care of business. And the big game next week, that's the one that can really give you a gap and allow some room for error as you face some tougher teams to finish off the season. So game balls here, I'm going to give one game ball to the whole defense, because again, you forced 5 turnovers as a whole team, like held them to under 150 yards. Like that's something that has to be applauded. Even with the backup quarterback, they just asserted their dominance and really just kept Cooper and Trey Lance. They were ineffective the whole time. Mike McCarthy didn't really have much to do, and when the offense responded, the defense always had a better response. So the defense gets a game ball. A.J. Brown gets a game ball because he was just, again, consistent, ripping off big plays for us, making tough catch after tough catch. It was his time to shine today after leaving the game last week against Jacksonville a little bit early. So shout out to him. And game ball for Jalen Hurts. He gets, 4 total touchdowns. Again, he had the turnovers, 1 interception, 1 fumble lost, and he took 5 bad sacks. I think that's something he needs to clean up, but that was all in the first half. In the second half, he had no turnovers. He had no sacks taken. They really did a good job of adjusting and scoring and putting the game away. So Jalen gets the game ball for ultimately cleaning things up. But this was going to be a quick post game because of just the way we dominated, and now we set ourselves up. So hopefully being able to take our starters out in the fourth, keeps us ready, keeps us fresh for a very tough matchup, which I'm really, really excited for. But this was a win that we needed. This was a win that we wanted against a division rival on the road. And again, we only have 3 more games left on the road now this season. So we get to finish strong in a lot of these games at home in Philadelphia in the cold, and it's going to set up big Saquon Barkley games, especially if we're going to continue to ground and pound. It's way tougher to bring guys down as the weather gets colder and they get to play outside. So this is good. This is going to be great. We're setting ourselves up for a significant run, and if we can really just take this division, get a hold of this division by sweeping all of our first games against our division rivals, that's going to be huge. And we get to play them all again to finish the season. So this was a perfect setup game. We avoided a trap setup, and what started off rocky, we finished strong as usual. So that's something that we can build off of. We scored 34 points, and we're just in complete control on both sides of the ball. So happy for that. They got a win, and we're just going to be excited. I'll talk more. We'll break it down. They got the Thursday night, so we'll probably get in a little earlier this week to break down that game. So I am Marcos Conegro, and this was the Week 10 post-game pod for the Philadelphia Eagles on the Behind the Back podcast feed. You can hit us up at behindthebackpod13@gmail.com. Hit us up on any of our social media links. The links are in the descriptions below. Please give us a like, subscribe, follow. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate growing each and every day with you guys. And I'm always excited after an Eagles win, so I can't wait to talk this week and break it down a little bit more. All right, y'all. Talk to you this week. Peace. Fly, Eagles, fly.